Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel. Hi, my name is Erin. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for clicking on another video. Today we're going to be getting into everything I watched in February and March. Because I didn't watch that much in February, I decided to just combine it with March and tell you guys everything I watched as a whole summary of the 2 months. So if you're interested to see all of the things I got into, then definitely just keep on watching. If you like videos like this is the place for you. I like to talk about movies, books, TV shows, anything that I'm consuming at the moment. And I also like to do some makeup videos here and there as well. So definitely think about subscribing to the channel if you're interested in any of those topics. Hit that subscribe button down below. I really appreciate it. And also like this video by the end if you enjoyed it. So without further blabbering, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Like I said, for February, I did watch a few TV shows, but I didn't really finish any. And then I also watched a couple movies. But yes, so in February, I rewatched the movie Airplane for the second time this year, I think. Yes, I watched it with my family, and I also watched this movie called Black. I watched it kind of early on in February, I believe. It's a 2005 movie. It's in, I don't even know where it was made, but it's about this. It's kind of like a retelling of Helen Keller's story, which when I was a kid, I had a huge fascination with Helen Keller's story. If you don't know, she was born blind and deaf, and she had a teacher that really helped her learn and teach her, because at that point she didn't really have the ability to communicate or learn or do anything, because she was blind and deaf because of I forgot which, something happened. She was ill when she was young, and then finally it broke through with her, which she started to teach her sign language and also kind of connect the objects with the words and teaching her manners and all these different things. And the movie was definitely basically a retelling of Helen Keller, but with a, I want to say, Indian family. I'm not for sure, and a male teacher in this case. And the story kind of progressed in a different way than what Helen Keller's story did, but it definitely had a lot of similarities. You could definitely see where they had some inspiration, and they even mentioned that they had some feedback from the Helen Keller foundation or estate or something. I don't know, but the movie was very interesting. It was very it was very reflective, I would say. That's the best thing I can say about it. Very reflective. I would definitely recommend you watch it and kind of look at it, not just the surface level, but kind of deeper in what it's trying to say. And then I also rewatched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is one that my younger sisters have never seen. So I wanted to see them, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I showed them that one because in March we watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, which it came out in February, but we didn't watch it in February. I was taking a break from Netflix in February, and so I watched it in March, but we'll get to that. But yeah, but that movie Black, yes, I wrote it down. I don't know why I didn't just turn to the page where I actually have the information. It's a Hindi language movie, and the director is Sajay Leela, and it was a 2-hour movie. The actors are Amitabh Bachchan, Rani Mukherjee, Shanaz Patel, and yes, I probably said all those names wrong, but I'm so sorry. But yeah, I really did like the movie overall. I thought it had a lot of heart and showed an overall story. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, I really enjoy. It's one of my favorites. I love the extreme tonal change from the first one. It's like a horror, straight up horror comedy, very heavy on the horror on the comedy. And so yeah, those are the movies I watched. I did watch a few shows, but I didn't complete any, so I didn't write anything down in February. But starting in March, I started to write down some of the shows that I was watching that I hadn't even completed, just because I want to also keep a record of the shows that I'm watching, because sometimes it could be a little bit much if you're watching a lot. But for March, I wanted to watch the movie Fresh. It's on Hulu. I have not watched it yet. I've watched a couple non-spoiler reviews, which I probably shouldn't have done, but that was one of the movies I was anticipating. I didn't get to it. So yes, but the movies that I did watch for March are The Batman. I went to the theaters to see this one. So The Batman is obviously 2022 release. And basically we're following a younger Batman as he starts to find himself becoming more than just vengeance, as he works with Lieutenant Gordon to catch a murderer named the Riddler. Starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Jeffrey Wright, Colin Farrell, Paul Dano, and John Turturro. And the director is Matt Reeves and rated PG-13. So I've already done a whole full Batman review video here on my channel, so I won't go into too much detail with this one because, like I said, I've already done a whole full video on it. But I will just tell you, I really enjoyed the movie. I really loved it. I love Robert Pattinson as Batman. I liked all the other characters as well, and all the other actors did an excellent job. I think the story was done really, really well, and it's definitely a more darker, kind of almost like detective Batman that we're seeing here, and I really like that turn and that take on it. So yes, for February, I just had a lot of fun with the movies. And I want to show my February spread here. I went with an Alfred Hitchcock for my reading journal spread for March. And I chose the movie Rebecca because it's one of my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movies. It's a gem if you have not seen it. I need to rewatch it, but really, really good. Definitely don't underestimate it because it's a bit of an older movie. If you don't like older movies, I mean, obviously, but give it a try. But anyways, let's keep going. So I also watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the reboot, the requel, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I didn't want to watch it in February because I was taking a break from Netflix, but I watched it in March and I enjoyed it. It was a very simple movie. I haven't even wrote about it. I need to catch up on my journaling, but very typical slasher, basically. Like very, very kind of almost generic, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either. We're basically following these young kids as they're coming into like this ghost town, basically, where there's not very many people that live there, and they're going to kind of revamp this town and kind of use the charm of it to attract new young people to buy into this property and also to live there. And what they come to find is that they're trying to you know, get this woman out of this building that she's occupying, and they don't realize that well, I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but what they don't realize is that our very, you know, friendly Leatherface wearing killer is in this particular building, and he does not like being disturbed or having them disturb his surrogate mom at this point. I was confused on some of the points, especially how Leatherface came to be at this place with this woman after the events, because this movie is supposed to be following after the events of the first one. So we see in this a return of Sally from the first one. We see some connections between the first one and this one, but we don't really get a whole lot of answers, which I'm thinking is on purpose so that they can continue on with it. But overall, I enjoyed it. I liked the ending as well. I won't spoil it, but I did like how they did the ending, and I think it's a fun little horror movie to watch. I watched it with my sisters and my sister's friend, and we all had a good time. We enjoyed it, but like I said, it's not the epitome of movie making, and it's not even the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie in my opinion. I really enjoyed the first one, the second one, and the remake. Those are my favorite. I actually haven't seen any of the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, so I guess I really can't speak on them. But as far as what I'm seeing, this one is pretty solid, and I know from like reviews and other people's opinions that the rest of the franchise is not that great anyways, even though I haven't seen it. So I think this one is pretty solid for what we're getting, especially in comparison with the series. I have seen Texas Chainsaw 3D. That was bad. That was terrible. But yeah, there you go. That's the other movie I watched for March. And then I watched quite a few TV series. So, and I actually finished quite a few, not quite a, like, I finished 3 TV series, but I watched quite a few that I haven't finished, and I wrote those down because I just want to kind of make note that I've watched them. Okay, so the first one I watched and finished all the way through was the Chucky TV series season 1, which is all we have right now. Man, that was really good. I actually recorded my thoughts on it. I haven't edited or posted that video. I don't know if I will, but wow, such a good little TV series. I think it was really well done. I really enjoyed it all the way through, and I'm excited to see where they go with this because I feel like they can go in so many different directions, and by the end of it I was appeased. I think there were some things that were hit or miss, but I think that the main male protagonist that they had playing, this is a young boy in middle school, he was very interesting to follow, and he was a very engaging main male protagonist. I also really enjoyed Chucky in this. him as Charles Lee Ray really showed all his chops in this TV series. He didn't leave any crumbs. He really did that thing. And it's just like the Chucky that we know and love. I feel like he really gave it his all in this TV series. And I also really enjoyed the flashback sequences within the movie, or the show. They keep going back and showing kind of the things about Charles Lee Ray. I don't think we need all that information. Sometimes mystery is better than giving us every single thing, but I did like it. I did like how they went about it. So if they're going to go that route of showing us the history of Charles Lee Ray and how he became evil, then I think they did a really good job. And they really went that route with, like, he's just kind of always been evil, which I think is perfect. That's what we want. So yeah, I'm excited to see if they continue on with the TV series. And like I said, I haven't written my full thoughts down in my journal, like the pages are empty, but I'm going to be doing that soon. The next TV series I finished was I finished two series from Pakistan. Terry Ra Main. So sorry. I'm so sorry. But this show was on RA Digital. I watched it on YouTube. Basically, we're following this lady. I'm disappointed in this show. And I was so involved with this show. I was literally, it was like a daily show. So it came on like every day, and except for like the weekend. I was literally waiting every day for those subtitles to be available so I can watch this show. I was so invested until we got towards the end, and I was just like, no. Absolutely not. So we're following this woman who gets married to this man, and this man's sister is one of her college mates that she went to school with. And this woman, she gets married to this man. They're in love, blah blah blah. He proposes to her, etc., etc. His family's more well off. She's more on the like lower end on the socioeconomic standard, I guess. And her new sister-in-law, who used to be her classmate in college, secretly actually really hates her. She is plotting against her. She does not want her married to her brother, all these different things, but she doesn't know that this woman really hates her. Well, we progress throughout the show and she starts to figure out that this woman hates her, and all of these things keep happening, and all these things keep plotting against her. Throw in also one of their other college friends or acquaintances rather, or her acquaintance, main female protagonist acquaintance, and her sister-in-law's friend, but they all kind of hung out at some point during college. He was in love, or he liked our main female protagonist, and he wanted to be with her, so he like kind of proposed to her during college. But she was very offended about this because of the way he did it. It wasn't very respectable. It wasn't like how she would have expected him to do it, especially with the culture. She would have expected him to bring his parents to meet her parents. He just approached her on college and gave her this card, and it was not how she would have wanted. It offended her, so she slaps him. That slap played out to this whole revenge plot with him. I mean, he was doing everything possible to get back at this lady, even going as far as marrying this woman's sister-in-law, who is his friend, who's also in love with him, mind you. Marrying her just to get revenge on this other lady. Already ridiculous. But to further make it even more ridiculous, he goes about all of this whole plot to get this woman basically shamed, and everyone thinking that she's just this terrible person, and also that she's not faithful. And we do all of this, and I'm just gonna spoil it because, okay, so if probably not gonna watch this, but anyways, basically this woman gets kicked out of her house. She's pregnant, she's ready to have a child, and her husband totally believes the lies from this other man, and also doesn't recognize that his sister has been plotting against his wife the whole time. So annoying. We have a whole bunch of other stuff going on as well with this girl's family, who's just plain, like, her sister-in-law is just plain evil, both of her sister-in-laws. And to boil all that down, to make this long story short, she gets back with her husband after he kicked her out of the house, after he believed she was cheating, after he treated her so bad and wouldn't even speak to her. He walked past her in the street knowing that she was pregnant, and she gets back with him at the end. And not only that, this guy that was doing all of this revenge plot, not only did he lie, cheat, do all of these things, he also killed someone's grandmother, and he just gets away at the end. oh, he gets in a car accident and he's paralyzed, but he gets off scotch-free. There's no police report. I think he said he was going to turn himself in or something, but really? And they just forgive him at the end. I'm done. I'm done. I can't. Not good. And I haven't rated any of these things. I'll go back and rate them at the end. But yeah, no. The other one I finished in March was yet another Pakistani drama called Ye Nati Hamari. It has one of my favorite actresses in it. Her name is I'm blanking on her name, but maybe I'll pop up a picture. I'll pop up pictures of all of these things. But this one's following this woman who was supposed to get married to one man, but she ends up marrying his cousin, and her sister ends up marrying the other man that she was supposed to get married to because of an incident that happened before the wedding. And we follow these two ladies. The younger sister is very spoiled. She doesn't want to do any work, and she basically causes havoc within her new house. And the older sister is very responsible, and she's got a good job and all these things, but her husband is not responsible. He's very insecure. He has a lot of insecurity problems. So we're following these two sisters as they're going about their life, and how one girl who is very responsible is the one that everybody relies on, and she ends up being the one that is showing basically how to form a relationship and strong bond with her husband, even though they didn't want to get married in the first place. Whereas the younger sister, who her husband actually wanted to marry her. He didn't want to marry the older sister in the first place, and he ended up getting his wish, marrying the younger sister. But he finds out soon that she's argumentative, disrespectful, not helpful, all of these things, etc., etc. And we start to see their journey as they have to learn how to change. The older sister, although she's very strong, but she's also very compliant, she has to learn how to stand up for herself, because her family that she's moved into, they respect her because she has a nice paying job and all these different things, but they kind of take advantage of that. Whereas the younger sister is just completely rude and disrespectful. She has to learn how to also understand that she's in a family unit now. She can't just get everything she wants. So we're following them with all of these different conflicts, and the love story between the older sister and her husband, who he didn't want to marry her. They kind of got married because of necessity, because of something that happened. I really loved and enjoyed their love story, even though I wanted to a couple times to him, because he just was so insecure, because he felt like he basically wasn't worthy for her, or worthy because she has like a nice paying job and he doesn't, and all these different things. But at the end, I really like how they tied it all up with their love story and brought them back together. I felt like in the end he redeemed himself, whereas the other couple I don't feel that way about. But overall, I really enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed that show. I think they did a really good job. They didn't drag it out. They ended it because one of the actors actually had like a surgery or something, so he couldn't finish the rest of the show, so they had to replace him, one of the main actors, not the older sister's husband, but the younger sister's husband. So they kind of probably wrapped it up a little bit early because of that, but I think that it was good because they didn't drag the story out and make it worse than what it was, intending to be. And I think they did a really good job with that one. But yes, and then some other shows that I watched that I did not finish was some other Pakistani dramas, Bebasi, Amanat, and Ishikila. I don't know if I said any of that right, but those are the other shows that I've watched and that I have not finished. And I'm also still currently watching The Secret Husband. I watched some of that in March, and I'm still watching it right now in April, but I think I'll be finishing it in April because it just finished. So yeah, that's all the stuff I watched in March, you guys. Let's go through them and give them ratings very quickly. The Batman 2022, A+. You'll probably have seen that, or I think I gave it an A- in my review video, but A nonetheless. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, I would give a C+, kind of average, middle of the road, so I think a C+ is perfect. The Chucky TV series, I would give definitely just off the top of my head, I would give it a B+. B+, because I really enjoyed it. A couple things that were a little off, namely some of the acting here and there, but I think overall a very solid series, and I'm excited to see where it goes. The Terry Ra main, no, D-, D- for sure. I can't get, even though I was addicted to it throughout, definitely addictive watch. The ending totally ruined it, and the character choices totally ruined this for me. And then the last one, Ye Nati Hamari, that one I would give that one a B-, for sure. Definitely solid, good love story, romance type of thing, and some good lessons by the end as well. So yes, that's everything I watched. I'm pretty sure in March. If I missed anything, I'll update you guys on my wrap up for April. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and I will check you guys out in the next video very, very soon. Stay safe.